It has come to our attention through a recent audit that Thompson Motion Manufacturing has little to no security procedures to protect the business and its data. I have evaluated the situation and determined there needs to be both physical and logical security changes. Physical security changes are easy to see. A simple fence around the building or security cameras can keep unwanted traffic out. Physical security is a good first step to any well-developed security plan. It will allow for you to know who and what is happening on your company's property. Your eyes cannot be everywhere, but with good physical security, you can ultimately know what is happening everywhere. Physical security will allow for you to have control of who is on your property. Right now, you are blind, and it's hard to say who is on your property at any given time. If something goes wrong, it is important to have hard facts of who was on your property during the present time. Lastly, in a competitive market, it is important to keep the details of your product safe. Currently, a competitor could walk onto your property and know exactly what goes into your product. They could bring the same product to market and take customers from you. For the success of your business, that cannot happen, and physical security is the first step. Logical security is a bit harder to wrap our heads around because it's not physically seen, but it is vital to have a good security plan with your company. 34% of American companies have had some sort of technological security breach in which data was stolen. With millions of businesses in the US, you are at risk of being attacked. With some of your larger clients being government organizations, you are at even higher risk, as people are wanting to attack the US government at an all-time high right now. How possibly does this affect you? You are simply providing high-profile clients with a product. Technology makes us all connected. You have important government-related data, including personnel, payments, and contact information in your network. Also, I am sure that you connect with these clients through portal or emails, which means there is an in to their system through yours. In 2013, Target was attacked through one of their refrigerator vendors' connected portal, and 40 to 70 million customers' credit card information was stolen. Target was at fault during this breach. With improper logical security, you become a stepping stone to your higher profile clients. In this graph, we are looking at total malware on the internet, and as you can see, it has skyrocketed and only continues to go up as attackers come up with new variants of malware. This is just one form of an attack an attacker can have on your network. So where do we begin? There are quite a few changes that need to happen to bring your business up to speed in the security realm. Some will take an investment, but if done well, it can help propel your sales because other companies enjoy working with a business in which they know their information is safe. The following slides will go over vulnerabilities found in a number of different functional areas and changes that need to be done. First, your system administration and endpoint, server, and device security. Your system is anything hardware and software related that helps your business remain operational. Currently, no one is managing this, and that will have to change. A new systems manager will be hired to manage your system and ensure your logical security is up to date. Right now, your servers and all your computers are running very old operating systems, which makes them vulnerable to all sorts of new attacks. All servers and computers will be cleaned up and updated to Windows Server 2019 or Windows 10 for computers. This will allow for the operating systems to have the newest technology to prevent attacks. In addition, as patches are released from Windows, the programs can be updated, unlike now where they are no longer supported by Windows. You have also had quite a bit of problems with malware and viruses in the past. Anti-malware software will be downloaded to all the devices in order to prevent this from happening in the future. Your current router is old and will be replaced with a new router, which will improve internet speeds, but also allow for firewalls to be installed to help keep unwanted traffic out. The router's password will be managed by the systems manager, so it is not common knowledge, and updated every 6 months. Individual accounts with credentials and passwords will allow employees to connect to the network and internet. No business should be operating without a firewall, as it is simply a piece of technology that can do a lot of security. The next piece of security we need to look at is network security. Think of your network as a web of computers, servers, and other devices that is unique to your business. If someone can walk in and access that information, it would be the same as someone walking in and stealing the product from the manufacturing warehouse. Your current setup is allowing for that to happen. With new design and new tools, this can be changed. This is where a fair amount of your budget for logical security will be spent. We will utilize the 4 current servers and the 125 computers. There will be 2 new firewalls. One will be external and one will be internal. This will create a double layer of filtering for traffic entering the network. There are no current switches on the network, so 7 will be purchased to help control the flow of traffic and segment the network, which adds an extra level of security. At each switch, there will be an access point, which extends your internet signal. There are 6 current access points we will use and only need to purchase 1 additional one. As you can see in this diagram, this is how we will set up your new network. You will see a main router that will connect your network to the outside world. This is where the external firewall will be as the initial wave of filtering. As you move down the network, off to the left, you will see your web server, which will be used as a DMZ zone. This allows for the internet traffic to be kept separate from your internal servers. This separation creates more security and control. After that server, you will see the internal firewall, which will be the second layer of filtering traffic. Down the web further is the application servers and the database and email server. All of this equipment will be housed in the current server room, which will need some upgrades we will discuss later. The 5 switches and the APs that will lead to the office computers can be in the server room as well, since the location of the server room is next to the office space. On the bottom right of this diagram, you will also see the 2 separate switches that lead to the manufacturing computers. These will be housed in a separate cabinet in the warehouse to provide the best connection. Your network is now segmented and offers multiple levels of filtering, which will keep it safe. Application security is the next step. Encryption across the board is going to change application security. Your applications house some of your most important information, so it is important to protect this data. Your websites will now be managed by your systems manager. He or she can make sure everything is running well and make necessary changes if need be. Because payments can be accepted through the website, your website will also be encrypted. Email is a vulnerability for a lot of people. Encryption will help keep communication safe. Also, a sandbox will filter emails to look for malicious attachments. One of the most important changes for email will be to cut off all personal use through the company's domain. Many personal emails fall to phishing scams, and keeping it strictly professional will limit certain attacks or the misspread of information. The production programs house some of the most important information of the business, so it is vital to protect these programs. This program specifically will use point-to-point encryption, which means the data will be encrypted all the way through. This means if the data was ever stolen, it would be useless to the person who stole it. These programs will also now have 2-factor authentication through a password and a separately sent code. This will prevent brute force password cracking. Identity, authentication, and access management is where a lot of control of your business is established. New ID badges will be distributed to all employees. These badges will specifically allow an employee to the office space or to the manufacturing space and for the limited people who need access to both, they will have it. These badges can unlock doors that is specified for their access, but will also limit access as all doors besides the main door will now automatically lock from the outside. Logon credentials will be assigned specific to each individual. These will require a password and a password that must be updated every 3 months. These credentials will be used to log onto a device and access the network. This will also allow for their activity on the network to be tracked if need be. The systems manager will have access to all areas as he or she will be responsible for keeping the systems operating. In addition, he or she will be the only one who has access to the new server room or the switch cabinet in the manufacturing warehouse. By limiting who has access to the systems means less capabilities for the intruder to have easy access. Guests will also have a sign-in process at the front office. They will be limited to certain parts of the office or warehouse where there is not sensitive information. This again will keep the products and business protected from infiltration. We already talked quite a bit about encryption with application security, but moving on to data protection and cryptography, we will touch a little bit more on it. If there is a data breach, it is very important that data is unusable. Applications will be encrypted as previously discussed. Credential passwords are stored on the network so devices can recognize if a password is correct or not. The passwords will be stored in a hash, which means if an attacker tries to steal the stored passwords, it would be difficult to crack and use. In addition, employees will be trained on how to create a more difficult password and will be required to have a password of at least 10 characters containing an uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, a number, and a special character. It is important when an employee moves on from the company that their credentials are terminated immediately. Credentials will be terminated within 1 hour of the employee stepping off company property on their last day. Their physical ID badge will also be turned in before they leave. This can ensure proper disposal of the badges as well as no misuse of the credentials.